Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 99 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is, of course, going to answer many different questions to, of course, some of the burning questions I must add from The Force Awakens that were not answered in The Last Jedi, as well as creating new ones at the very beginning of this movie that will be answered at the very end of Episode 9, in order to really evolve the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren from start to finish of the plot of this movie. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions and one of the big plans by Disney and Lucasfilm, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of a sequence where it's explained that Rey is heading to a place called the Lost City, where she is in search of an ancient Jedi and Sith lore, to better understand both sides of the dark and the light during the ancient times. It's explained that Rey eventually finds a place called the Prime Jedi Temple, where she holds the Skywalker saber. It's explained that she begins to hear the voice of Anakin Skywalker that is said to be portrayed by Hayden Christensen, of what's planned for post-production. It's described that in the distance, eventually the apparition of a far older version of Anakin appears before Rey, luring her deeper into the Prime Jedi Temple, where she keeps following the Anakin figure as he keeps luring Rey through. Eventually, it's said that Anakin's voice begins to give Rey a lesson about the Prime Jedi and reveals that it was the Prime Jedi who created the Jedi Order. However, it's said that throughout the generations, the rules of the Prime Jedi changed, hence why there was a flaw in the Jedi Council during the prequel era. It's described that the plan for Hayden Christensen as Anakin is to tell Rey that the Order of the Prime Jedi is the purest form of the Jedi way that dates back before the Sith and Jedi conflict. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 is going to be a movie that's going to truly answer many of those questions related to the ancient ways of the Jedi, the Sith, and even the Force overall, and that a lot of this is going to have to do with the Lost City itself that Rey travels to. Now, the thing that really stands out to me a lot here is that this is actually said to be a big plan by Disney and Lucasfilm for Hayden Christensen to step in the role as Anakin Skywalker to really fulfill a certain lesson for Rey, to really learn more about the ancient Jedi and, of course, the ancient Sith. And this, to me, sounds like it really is going way into the type of material that fans wanted to see in The Last Jedi. The mythology of Star Wars, everything related to the Jedi, the Sith, the magical part of these stories. Apart from the actual wars, like the Resistance going up against the First Order, you also have this side of the Star Wars story, which I honestly, in my point of view, I find more interesting. That's just me. I'm more into that mythology, so this is a very intriguing moment in which we have Anakin and Rey communicating within this underground city that we're not quite sure exactly what world this takes place on, other than the fact that it is indeed based over in the Outer Rim, which may or may not give us an idea of what planet this could very well be. I would like to think that maybe this would be perhaps like a new planet or a brand new planet that we have never seen before in either Star Wars Legends or, of course, the current canon material. But for all we know, this world could very well be an already existing world that fans already know about. Now, the other piece that I do want to go over is that Anakin tells Rey that the Prime Jedi, the Order of the Prime Jedi, is the purest form of the Jedi way. Now, you guys may recall that Luke Skywalker had all the Jedi books on Ahch-To inside of that tree library, and there were deleted scenes where Luke was talking about the ancient Jedi Order and, of course, the ancient ways of the Jedi. And I think that one of the big things that Luke Skywalker talked about, and mind you, this is a deleted scene, is that he tells Rey that, one must always maintain balance, even if people get hurt. You must not fight even if people get hurt. And I could see why they deleted that. Maybe that just really wasn't right for the ancient Jedi way, and it didn't make a lot of sense by Rian Johnson, so they left it out and they cut it out, which I honestly am very glad they did. But with that being said, this movie really seems like it's trying to set up everything related to how the Jedi became, well, the Jedi, and how the Sith became the Sith. We're going to witness exactly what actually split those two sides of the Force apart. Now, a couple of weeks ago we learned that the Beyond was directly responsible for the separation between the Jedi and the Sith, and that they were not always enemies. They were not always against each other. In fact, there was a time where the Jedi and the Sith got along, where they were essentially just ancient groups, right? They weren't really, called the Sith or the Jedi at the time, and once they discovered this power, that's exactly what split them into two. Now, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about this below in the comments, and what you think about everything related to this world, and Anakin Skywalker, Hayden Christensen, etc. So, if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.